So before I start my animation, I love to make my own video reference footage. Um, you can go online and you can find video reference, especially for things that simply cannot be done. You know, if you have someone who's an acrobat, if you have someone who does parkour, there are things that professionals can do that you may not necessarily be able to perform. But any time that there is something that really can be recorded, um, I love to make my own video reference. That helps me to see the entire action. Video reference is so important in animation, and so even though some of the assignments that you'll be doing, especially towards the beginning, they're not incredibly complicated beyond, contact position, arcs, timing, spacing, things like that. There's not a whole lot of character or emotion in some of these, but getting into the habit of creating your own video reference will pay dividends down the road when it really starts to become this overly complicated list of things that you're trying to keep track of. So what I have here is just a simple video, and we'll be looking at these if we haven't already. At the time of this recording, we haven't had class yet, but these videos I have for you. There's several of them. Some of them have already been broken down with contact positions, as well as, you can see the height just to get an idea. Also, I wanted to point out that inside of QuickTime, it's very useful down here at the time. If we open it up, you can actually switch over to the frame number. Now, if you don't have a version of QuickTime for whatever reason that allows you to do that, I've actually added the frame numbers directly into the video itself. So as you can see, as I start to move forward, you can see that these numbers are changing, and fortunately they coincide with the numbers that QuickTime has as well. So what it is it's simply my hand holding a little ping pong ball, and I'm going to let gravity take it. This bar that you see here, this red and white line, sort of helps me indicate exactly what angle the ball was going to be rolling at. So as I start to play this through, volume off, you can see that I've actually animated contact positions as well as pointed out where the first four contact positions were. So you can see that as the ball rolls down, the first contact position comes up at frame 31. This is a really important element because it is a visual cue so that I can start to establish the correct timing. Remember, the big difference between timing and spacing. Timing is how long it takes to get to something else. How long does an action actually take? So you can see that then there is the arc, and then the next contact position is at frame 45. And then a little bit less time to get to the next one, and then a little bit less time to get to the next one. So that while it is very much losing energy in the up and down position, it is also losing time because it's taking less time to get from here to there than it would when it got from here to there. Now this all may seem sort of common sense at this point, but being able to really look at it, being able to break the actions and the motions down so that you can really start to understand it will only help you when it comes time to go into that big, scary, stupid, idiot box called Maya. Now, keep in mind, I've been using Maya for almost 17 years. And at this point, I still know Maya doesn't even know what animation is. It's a computer program. It's a tool. The same way that a pencil or a pen doesn't make a drawing. So just keep in mind that all of these little steps that we're going to be reviewing and the things that we'll be practicing are only to make you better at the craft and the skill set that you want to achieve. Okay? Now, we see that the angle is rolling. and it drops off, hits the ground, bounces back up. Now why is it moving at that angle? Well, because this angle combined with the lack of energy, because remember, if I threw this in that direction, the ball would have probably hit here, bounced on the wall there, and then bounced down. But because I let gravity just take it at that angle, the only amount of energy was really the tiny little roll in that direction. So it doesn't travel very far for each one of those. And the only energy that it had coming down was the amount of gravity pulling it towards the ground. So we have height ratios, contact positions, high points. These are apex points. These are also things that you can keep track of. And this will all be very, very useful for when we start using our video reference to achieve our animation. Something else that I want to point out before we dive into 3D, all of the notes that I have sitting on top of my video are not here just to confuse you or fill this space. These are the elements that you need to make notes of for yourself. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to animate the motion path like I did. I'm not suggesting that you actually have to count every pixel. But I'm using these to help illustrate the kinds of things that you need to be aware of when you're planning your animation. So we have arcs, we have speed, we have contact positions, we have apex points. These are things that you can write down on paper and have right next to you while you start your animation. So even if you don't have all of these elements sitting on your video reference, that's okay. I'm putting all of this inside of these just for your benefit right now. Eventually, these are going to be the notes that you'll have on paper. Okay, so just keep in mind that you're going to be writing all of these notes down. You're going to be using them to guide you into the next phase. Now, the next phase is of course going to be actually animating these spheres, bouncing. So let me just stop the video now.